Hello again, my dear students. How are you? I hope you had a wonderful Christmas celebration. And today we are going to continue with the story of Charles Dickens, Christmas Carol. Carol significa canto o cántico y curiosamente es un cántico navideño. Así le puso a su historia. Y la historia, como ustedes vieron la clase pasada, es la historia de Mr. Scrooge. Y hablamos de que Mr. Scrooge was a grumpy, stingy old man. Grumpy, enojón, stingy. En español nosotros decimos codo, que no le gusta compartir. La palabra correcta sería avaro. Un hombre avaro que quería todo para él mismo, ¿verdad? Vimos cómo le ocurren cosas, ¿verdad? Primero, su trabajador le pide permiso para ir a comprarle un regalo a su hijo y pues lo deja muy triste porque le dice que no, además no es hora de andar comprando regalos en el último momento. Y luego tocan a la puerta, viene el sobrino de Mr. Scrooge y resulta que Mr. Scrooge lo deja igual, ¿verdad? El pobrecito jovencito viene a invitarlo, por favor, tío, te invitamos a la cena de Navidad, y él no acepta, no quiere estar con ellos y lo manda con cajas destempladas. Luego viene una pareja, un par de hombres que llegan a pedir dinero, una colecta para los niños huérfanos, y tampoco, él les dice que no está de humor para andar tirando su dinero, así que para nada. Y luego ocurre algo increíble, él después de que se va a su casa, pasa algo terrible, dice la historia, que empieza un viento muy frío y se oye el crujir de la madera en las ventanas, ¿verdad? Y cómo el viento golpea con fuerza y entra un fantasma, y ese fantasma no era más que su propio compañero de trabajo con quien había hecho su empresa, el señor Marley. Y el señor Marley está encadenado de pies y manos y le dice que más vale que se arrepienta de sus malos caminos o le va a pasar como a él, que anda vagando por el mundo por haber sido tan mala persona. Pero don Scrooge no hace caso, no le importa y se va a dormir como si nada. Entonces sucede algo todavía más increíble. Dice que viene el fantasma de un niño pequeño y este niño le dice: vamos a hacer un viaje al pasado, y lo lleva a donde él estuvo en su niñez y cómo celebraba la Navidad y cómo tenía el gusto de colgar los adornos en la escuela donde él estudiaba, y cómo andaba contento con todos sus amiguitos, y recuerda eso. Y luego el fantasma lo lleva a la cena con su esposa joven, bonita, en la casa de su jefe, y cómo están divirtiéndose, y pues se le rasan sus ojos de lágrimas, ¿verdad? Porque está muy feliz de recordar esos tiempos, pero de repente lo lleva a otra fiesta más adelante, unos años después, donde su esposa le dice: nos tenemos que separar porque ya no es lo mismo contigo. Puro trabajo, 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 dinero, 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 y ya no hay nada de diversión, nada de amor, nada de atención para mí ni para nuestra familia. Así que, bye, y lo deja. Y entonces ahí es donde nos quedamos la clase pasada. Como él le dice al fantasma: ya por favor, llévame de regreso a mi casa, llévame de regreso a mi casa. Y ahí es donde vamos a continuar. Dice: suddenly he was back in bed, but then there appeared a second ghost, just as Marley, his old dead partner, had warned him. This time the ghost was old and bigger, and Mr. Scrooge was even more scared than the first time. This was the ghost, This time the ghost was older and bigger, and Mr. Scrooge was even more scared than the first time. This was the ghost of the present Christmas. The ghost said, "Come with me. We shall see what is happening this Christmas Eve." Before he could say anything, the ghost had taken him to his nephew's home, and to his helper's home. In this poor man's home, there was a very, very humble, simple dinner table. The man stood up and said, "I want to thank Mr. Scrooge for giving me work and for paying my salary on time. That is why we can enjoy one meal together, our meal together." Mr. Scrooge could not believe his ears. How could this man be thankful to him when he was so nasty and mean at every opportunity he had? Nasty, malvado, mean, terrible. Furthermore, he was stunned. At his at how thankful he was having so little. Estaba increíblemente asombrado de qué tan agradecido estaba, siendo que tenía tan poquito. Right then, he realized there was a little sick child sitting at the table. The little kid looked pale, thin, and so frail. Mr. Scrooge was deeply moved at this very sad sight. En ese momento él se dio cuenta que había un niño sentado a la mesa, pero este pequeño lucía tan débil, tan pálido, tan enfermo. Y él se sintió muy triste de esta escena. The ghost spoke and said, "This little child is very ill and has very little time. Hasn't got much time. Este pequeño está muy enfermo y no tiene ya mucho tiempo." El señor Scrooge, dice, grew even sadder. Se puso todavía más triste. But the ghost hurried to take him yet to another home. This time was his nephew's home. Esta vez se lo llevó a la casa de su sobrino. The whole family was enjoying a good time eating. They had left an empty seat waiting for Mr. Scrooge. His nephew then said, "Oh, I wish Uncle were here with us. I wish my uncle were here with us." Mr. Scrooge did not expect to see this, much less to hear this. His family missing him was much more than he could bear. How could they miss him when he had done nothing but despised them and refused their company? All he knew for sure was that they all hated him. Oh, but how wrong he was. At that very moment, the ghost told him his time had come to die. Before leaving, the ghost told him, "There comes another ghost. You'd better pay attention to his message. He represents all greedy and unconcerned people. Now that you're ready to die." Ay, 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 ahora que estás listo para morir. Then the big ghost disappeared, and there appeared the third one. This one looked like death itself. He was the ghost of the future and brought Mr. Scrooge to his own funeral. There were lots of people around his grave at the cemetery. He was shocked when he read his name at the gravestone. He overheard people talking behind his back and saying how relieved they were that he had finally left this earth for good. It was then Mr. Scrooge realized he had become worse and worse over the years. Nobody liked him anymore. They didn't even like the sight of him. Those who owed him money were glad they didn't have to pay him now that he had died. Then he saw his nephew's son's grave, his helper's son's grave right next to his. But unlike his own, this one was full of flowers, and people around it mourned his loss. He could not stand this anymore. He begged at the ghost to please take him back. He went on to say, "Now I finally understand. I am going to change my ways. I don't want to continue being that stingy, old, grumpy man. I promise." All of a sudden, Mr. Scrooge was back home. He realized the day was not over yet. He thought to himself he had time to change some things. So immediately he jumped out onto the street very happily. First, he visited the butcher and bought a big ham and asked the man to please take it, to send it to his helper's home. Then he went to the toy store and bought a toy and asked the lady to have it delivered to his helper's son. After that, Mr. Scrooge ran and went to his brother's home. He joined the dinner his nephew had invited him to. They all enjoyed Christmas Eve together and had so much fun. Later on, Mr. Scrooge made sure his helper's son got all the medical attention and treatment for his illness. For this was a radical change, for he started treating the little boy as if he were his own son. Mr. Scrooge really changed. He started helping the poor. He treated people with respect, so he got along with them, with everyone much better. He was no longer rude, selfish, or unkind. Nothing was the same for him and the people around him anymore. For the spirit of Christmas had changed his heart forever. Now, this is a story, and I apologize for not being able to read it as I should have. You may be wondering why I don't have my um, bored anymore and I don't have my classroom, I have come to Mexico City to visit my mother because she got very ill and she had to be hospitalized. And I'm taking care of her now that she's out of the hospital, thank God. She's doing much better and I will be here for a good while. But I tried to do my best to give you the classes, and hopefully you get the idea. This story is really nice, it's really good, and it touches the heart because it makes you think that all of the things we do every day have a consequence, whether it's for good or for bad. We plant seeds of love in the people or seeds of hatred in the people. So let's plant seeds of love. Let's ask God, the Spirit of Christmas, who is Christ Jesus, to help us change our ways and have the purpose to be better next year. God bless you all. I wish you all a very Merry Christmas, although it's already gone, but a happy, very happy and prosperous new year. May God abundantly bless you. See you soon. Bye-bye.